has an amazing story about it, so I thought I'd share it with you, because if you haven't been watching my channel before, you don't know about the story of my spirit guide portals. But when I first started painting, I decided to paint Yogananda as my first person and do him in a what they call a tone painting, where it's basically two colors with all the values in them. And as I started to decide to paint him, I thought, you know what? I want to paint him with the blessings and power that that Yogananda was giving when he was alive, and I want it to be alive and giving blessings. And so I painted him with that intention of putting the blessings and infusing those blessings into this paint. At the time, I thought it was just a painting. Now I know it's a portal, which is a doorway to connecting with some higher power, whether it's Yogananda or an angel or Divine Mother, Mother Mary, whatever that is. So I had this intention. I wanted this painting to be infused with his blessings, his energy, his power. And I started to just paint him with that intention, listening to his voice, hearing him chant, infusing it into, alming the canvas, putting all this positive energy into him. And as I completed him, a co-artist in the studio came by and gave me a thumbs up and said, Yogananda's in the house. And I thought, oh, okay, I did a good job. But that's not the amazing part of the story. The amazing part of the story is I put Yogananda up to dry, came back a week later, went into the art studio, and when I went in, a woman who I'd never seen before in the art studio comes up to me, because I was checking Yogananda to see, is he dry, is he done? And she said, are you the person who painted Yogananda? And I said, oh, yes, I am. She says, well, I just have to tell you, when I look at this painting of him, I can feel his energy and his blessings and his power in it. I just feel like I'm being blessed, And I went, oh, thank you. But on the inside, I went, oh, it works. Oh, it works. Oh, it works. And so I started to realize, like, oh, these aren't just paintings. These are portals. These are doorways to help other people connect with these divine powers, these divine beings in the world. And so then I started getting more and more visions, and that's what all the rest you see behind me. And when I do these other guided meditations, they're all visions that come to me of spirit guides, of masters that want to come and bless you with something to help your life be better. Whether it's to give you an awakening to more spiritual truth, or just maybe a blessing of love, a blessing of divine energy, but they're here to bless you. And so I wanted to share that story with you, because Yogananda volunteered today. He wasn't making it clear to me what he wanted to talk about, but he wanted to come forward today to bless you with an intuitive message of something. So I'm going to tune in here into his energy, and I'm going to guide you through a little bit to tune in and connect with this spirit guide portal of Yogananda, because often you will get your own intuitive message through something that either there's a movement in the painting or a color jumps out. Now obviously there's not a lot of color in this painting, but I always talk about that is there movement? Does something jump out at you? Does something come to mind when you're doing it? And that's the blessings of that spirit guide that's coming to give you a blessing. Now I'm going to give an intuitive message of whatever that comes forth of what I'm supposed to share with you, but I want to make sure that you also, as the viewer, as the listener, if you're just listening to this, can get your own intuitive message, because it's all about how do I help you as a spiritual seeker, as an empath, as a highly sensitive person, to get your own trust in your own intuition that comes to you. Yes, we can get it from other people, because that's always good. And especially when you're trying to grow into that next level, it can be very challenging to know what's true for you. And we all have our own blind spots. And that's where the beauty of getting a message from somebody else, another spirit guide, a higher energy, a higher consciousness, because we can get caught in our ways of thinking, our habits of being, which can keep us stuck. Those habits can keep you stuck rather than help you go forward. In fact, if you're trying to really make big change where you want a quantum leap, like something's not working in your life, then you really have to do something that's completely foreign to you and completely different than your habitual way of thinking or behaving. And Yogananda is starting to come in and say that this is what he wants to talk about. He wants to talk about how do you actually start to, overcome your habits that keep you kind of stuck in the same place. So if you're wanting to make more money or step into the next step of your career, like at the next level, having bigger impact. Or maybe you want to completely change what you're doing and quit your job and start your own business. That Yogananda wants to talk about what you have to do to go to that next level. Okay? So I'm going to start here in a minute and actually do a prayer and lead us into it. And if you're only listening to this, you're going to have to use your mind's eye to kind of envision Yogananda. Hopefully, maybe you've gone to my website and seen his image and you can picture it in your own mind's eye, or just even if you don't know what Yogananda looks like, you can just imagine what you think he might look like and imagine it in your own mind's eye, as far as if you're not watching the video, so you can actually connect with the image. Okay, so let's get started. So I'm going to start with a prayer and you can follow along or do your own silently. Divine Mother, Heavenly Father, Great Spirit of the Universe, and Yogananda, who so graciously volunteered to be here today to bless you, to guide you, to bring you to the truth. Om, peace, Amen. Yogananda is asking you to focus on deep belly breathing. Just focus on that belly breath where you, with the inhalation, your belly rises with that inhalation and falls with the exhalation. And doing that deep belly breathing in and out. And if you're seeing this on video, you just, with relaxed eyelids, gaze into the image of Yogananda. And if you're listening to the audio, just in your mind's eye, imagine Yogananda in front of you. And if you're gazing at the image, as you gaze at the image, just relax your eyes and your jaw. Continuing to deep belly breathe. The belly rises with the inhalation and falls with the exhalation. And as you continue to breathe, just with relaxed eyes, gaze into Yogananda. Gaze into his image. And as you gaze into the image, are your eyes drawn to any part of Yogananda? Does any part of him jump out at you? Maybe a color. And as you continue to gaze into his image, just notice. Notice, does anything come to mind? Do you feel a sensation in your body? Just make a mental note of what you notice. And I'm going to tune in now with Yogananda and ask what he came to talk to you about, to share with you. Yogananda is coming in and he's saying that if you're listening to this, then you're ready. That you're ready to start making those changes that have been holding you back. Those habits he's talking about. And he's talking about how your habits are actually your programming. what you see you habitually do is the programming that you received when you were a child and that you've been receiving as an adult. And that he says it, but you're actually ready. If you're listening to this, you're ready to go, hey, wait, I want something different. I want something better. I'm ready to like step into the fact that I can make this change and that I am actually this powerful being. And he really he's saying that you're this powerful being, powerful beyond measure. And he says he wants you to let that sink in if you're hearing this, that you are this amazing, powerful being, powerful beyond measure. And he wants you to get that beyond measure. And why he's focusing on the beyond measure phrase is because he's saying that he wants you to connect with that dream, that desire that is beyond what you think, your logical mind, what you can have. So maybe that you really want to quit your job and start your own business. Maybe you want to go traveling in a van, or maybe you want to start your own YouTube channel, or maybe you want, like whatever that thing that you've had that kind of like, ooh, I'd like that you've seen someone else doing. Or maybe you haven't seen anyone else doing it, but you have this desire, that's this little idea that you think is possible. And he's showing me the Wright brothers with the airplane. And he's saying he's showing me this because he says when they got this idea to make a plane, to fly, everybody thought they were crazy. And he's saying that you have to stand in your power of knowing what's true for you and not caring what everybody else thinks. And he says, if you're hearing this, you're ready. It is time for you. It is time for you to start to change your habits. Because the habits, he says, the habits you have currently are from the programming you received when you were a child. And those habits keep you stuck doing the same old thing. He's saying that he came on this planet when he was alive to help people become self-realized, to become enlightened. And he says, if you're tuning to him, it means that at some level, you're here for that bigger level. Whether it's maybe you have an aspiration to become enlightened, and maybe not. Maybe you have an aspiration to become wealthy. And he's saying that is a good aspiration, that becoming wealthy on the physical plane is the next step to becoming self-realized, to becoming enlightened. Because every quality it takes to become wealthy is a quality it takes to become self-realized. And so he's saying, don't belittle that desire that you have to become wealthy, to create a life that you love, to be a light in the world. He's saying you do not want to diminish that desire and think like that, a worry. He's saying think and worry about, people are going to think like, who do you think you are? You're nothing special. He's saying you actually are something special. He wants you to get that. You are something special. He said that every person on the planet is something special in their own unique way. There is no other being that's like you. Even if you're a twin, he's saying, you're a twin, even if you're a twin, you still have slight differences. Whether it's differences in personality, maybe slight differences in the way you look, you have unique fingerprints. Your fingerprints are not exactly the same. And that uniqueness is why you're special and why it's so important, he's saying, for you to embrace your uniqueness and that you're here to shine your light. He's wanting you to own shining your light. Now he's saying your habits probably have you thinking like, I don't have anything special to shine my light on. I don't have anything special I can do. And he's wanting you to, like, when you hear that voice, to say very kindly and lovingly, stop. Yogananda told me that we all have something special we're supposed to shine our light in. And so he wants you to just start paying attention inwardly to how your heart feels of when something sparks your interest. When something, not because someone else is interested in it, but because you have interest in it. When something sparks you of like, oh, I would love to be able to do that. I would love to be able to travel. I'd love to be able to paint. Like I love to paint, that just brings out my joy. He's saying the key is, as you're feeling like that thing of like something you'd love to do, is to notice when you do it, does it bring you joy? If it brings you joy, if it brings you happiness, then you are meant to do it. And not to question on, wow, this is crazy, this won't make me any money. He's wanting you to own that next level, that next step of what you are to do. Because even if you can't see how that will make you money, that next step will lead you to the next step, and the next step, and the next step. And that is what intuitive guidance is. It leads you to the next step. And if you don't take that next step, then your guidance never brings you the next step, the next rung up, each step is going up, 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 right? If you're going up the ladder or up the steps. And so Yogananda is saying, be willing to take that next step. You don't have to know the whole picture. In fact, if you keep waiting to see the whole picture, you're never going to move forward. And so he's really wanting you to embrace the next step. All you need to know is what your next step is. He's asking you to embrace that. That desire, that interest is your next step. Now, he's not talking about addiction. He's wanting to make that clear. It's not about addiction of like, I want the next drink, if you're an alcoholic, or if you want to do it because your friend does it, because that's not truth in your heart. He's asking you to take the moment to sit with yourself every day for 1 minute. 1 minute where you sit with yourself, put your hands in your heart, and you go, what's the truth in my heart of what my next step is? So he's asking me to give you an example. Like, I'm doing these messages and I'm developing videos for empaths and highly sensitive people, and I'm giving meditations, all to help bless you with divine presence and to help you to know the truth of what the spiritual laws are, so you can actually create a life that you love and step into your purpose and shine your light. That's my whole calling of what I'm here to do. And in my channel, it's like, as I'm growing this YouTube channel, it's always like, what's the next step so I can be a bigger blessing to you, the viewer, the listener, and help have more impact in the world, because I want to help transform you and your life into something you love, into something that brings you joy and peace and love, so that we can transform the energy on the planet. Because as you get happy, the planet gets happier. As each individual person gets happy, the energy on the planet changes. So your blessing, or what you're here to do, may be you might think only to do for one person, but that one person may do it for 1 million people. So I'm here to help you to step into what blessing you're here to give, how you're here to shine your light, what you're here to move forward on. And Yogananda is really stressing the next step. Stop trying to see the big vision. You have to know what you desire and what you're heading towards, but you don't have to know all the steps and all the turns right now. See, we're used to GPS. We put in, we want to go to the grocery store or another state, like I want to go to Maine, and it gives me all the, you go 15 miles down the road, Freeway 92, and you get onto highway whatever, and then you make a left here and a right there. And most people are looking for that map, that road map, that GPS. But what you get when you go to intuitive guidance and your own inner guidance is just the next step. Very rarely do you see the whole picture until you take the next step. And as you continue down and take each next step, you might start seeing maybe 3 or 4 steps of what you are the next step. But Yogananda is asking you to get comfortable with not knowing the full picture and embracing the next step. All right? So that's his guidance on how do you actually lead yourself to creating a life you love, to manifesting what you desire in your life, is embracing the next step. I'd love to hear in the comments what your next step is you're taking, how this helped you, and how you're you're going to be moving forward. If this helped you in any way, please be a blessing and share it with someone else that you know that could get a blessing from it. And if it resonates with you, please subscribe, give me a like up, a likes up, a thumbs up, and turn on your notifications so you know that when the next video hits. All right? Remember, greatness is within you. It's time to shine your light. Blessings.